to this beat.
Welcome to another episode. Welcome to another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I am your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. That's very important. If you're watching me and you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. That's all it takes. Help it grow. That's all it takes. And a lot of folks ask me, Cap, how you want to have the program? Blah, 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 blah. Just hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Appreciate the love, appreciate the hate, appreciate all of it. It all works together. You're not rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. Follow me on Twitter at Gamecocks Talk. Follow me on Instagram at Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. And wherever you get your podcasts, you can find your man, Captain Will. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a good one today, y'all. We have a good one today. Y'all, we talking recruiting. We discussing the recruiting cycle, and we discussing, where does the Gamecocks, fit in this recruiting cycle so far this year. And I'm not gonna sit here and say like, hey, I'm not always right, and when I'm wrong, I'll let you know. Yo, I was wrong. And I was wrong about Jayla Davis. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna front. I thought Jayla Davis was gonna be a Gamecock. She just announced a little while ago that she is staying at home and gonna play for Kansas. So I thought that she was gonna be second overall recruit coming to this three-time national championship team. But I was wrong. She stayed at home. Last week, a few days ago, Kaylin Carroll decided that she was not going to be a Gamecock, another five-star recruit who we targeted and who came for a visit, and in the proper circumstance and all those great things we saw, all those on the social medias and stuff. And she decided that she wanted to go to Kentucky. We can go through the list of names that have went other places that were Gamecock targets. We did get Ayla McDowell, who's a five-star recruit, who is a wonderful basketball player and will in the 6'2" wing who can guard all positions and can shoot the rock and is going to be a dog for South Carolina because she actually plays defense. And salute out to her for real, for choosing the Gamecocks and not being afraid of competition. And I think at this point in Carolina's quest to get high value targets in recruiting for this class of 2025 is tough. Because I believe that some of these young ladies are seeking things that necessarily Gamecocks can't offer. This is a fact. Gamecocks can't offer you playing time as a five-star recruit. Can't offer that. No, can't. When you have on the team next season, in 2025 or 2024-25 class, you can't say I'm going to play ahead of Raven Johnson. I'm going to play ahead of MiLaysia Fulwiley. I'm going to play ahead of Tessa Johnson, Maddy McDaniel. You can't say that because all those players were high recruits as well. Raven, number 2 overall in class 2021. Maddy, right now, just had 6 assists in this previous game, was a 14th overall recruit. They're going to play out to be much better than that. And that was in the class 2024. We just talking about guards. Okay? Tessa, number 25 in her class. MiLaysia Fulwiley, number 13 in her class. You're not gonna, if you a guard in this class of 2025, you're going to have to come to South Carolina and wait. And what I'm seeing in this cycle, these young players don't want to wait. They want instant gratification. They want to go into a situation, go into a program where I can potentially have the spotlight on me, where I can have the Sports Center moments, where I can have the times where I'm getting glorified like a Juju or like a Hannah or like a Madison Booker. You know, those are the things. You got these young ladies who are getting these NIL deals in high school now. High school. So it's like, okay, I got an NIL deal in high school. You expect me to be a backup player on this basketball team? Oh, no, that's not good for my brand. I got to start. Not only got to start, I need to play 30, 35 minutes because it's going to help me grow my brand so I can become the next Angel Reese, so I can become the next Rakia Jackson, so I can be that person. But here's the situation. Is it the glorification, the self-glorification of getting that bag and getting that brand and getting those things? Or is it the team gratification of actually winning? What is it? I'm curious. I'm just curious about that, because when I look at the recruits on the list, and I look at the previous targets that Gamecocks had, and the targets of people that are not signed yet. You know, Adhel Tac isn't signed yet. I believe that she's going to go to Texas Tech because they're going to give her $1 million+ dollars. But as a whole, I mean, if we go down the list and we highlight Gamecock players who, or I should say Gamecock targets in this recruiting cycle, Adhel Tac, currently the number 1 ranked recruit. Jazzy Davidson, she ended up going to Southern Cal. Okay. She's from the West Coast. A God maker who was going to commit on the 17th, ended up changing her mind and saying that she's going to commit within the next month. She's not going to commit in the early recruiting cycle. I'm not sure that's good or bad for South Carolina. And I thought that we had, it was one and a possible, a strong possible. And those possibles were between a God maker, Caitlin Carroll, and Jayla Davis, who just committed. Jayla Davis is a fast riser in terms of her interest in Carolina. And Caitlin Carroll, like I said before, has committed to Kentucky. I'm not sure what a God maker is going to be. This kind of threw me when she changed her mind. We never really recruited Grace Knox or Emily Skinner. We go down the list, and then you have Tessa Johnson and Divine Burridge. Both of those players committed to LSU. Both of those players are combo guards. Both of those players will get playing time next season. And they are, according to ESPN, the 12th and the 13th ranked players in this cycle. Both of those players were recruited by South Carolina and decided not to go. That's something to watch. It's just something to just keep in mind. Because both of those players would, if they would have came to South Carolina, or one or two of those would have came to South Carolina, they would have played behind the aforementioned MiLaysia Fulwiley, Tessa Johnson, Raven Johnson, and Maddy. They don't want to sit and wait. They want to go in and play. We go all the way down. We talk about Jada Seville. She committed to Tennessee. Ayla, like I said, committed to South Carolina. We can go to Lauren Jacobs, our own Columbia hometown girl, committed to Ole Miss. She has an opportunity to play next year at Ole Miss. We have to be honest. We have to just keep it real. She would have sat at South Carolina for a couple of years before getting the opportunity to play, barring injury. At this point in the class of 2025, it's done. It's over. It's over. If we get a got maker, that would be great because she's the number 4 overall player in this class. If we do not get a got maker and she ends up going to Michigan State, we will get 1 player in this cycle. And we would have to go to the transfer portal to get a couple of players to fill out some of these roster spots that will be open next season. I'm curious what happens next. And when I say what happens next, I'm not saying that, by no means that the Carolinas draft protocol has fallen off. Because, come on. The last recruiting cycle, we got Joyce, we got Maddy, we got Adhel. So I'm not saying that whatsoever. What I'm saying is 2026 recruiting cycle is big for South Carolina. There will be a chance for players to come in and have the opportunity to earn spots if they choose to. That's the thing. This Carolina team, this roster is amazing. Next year's team roster will be amazing. Despite Breezy being gone, despite Sania Feagin being gone, despite Powell being gone, despite Sakima Walker being gone, this team will be excellent once again. And adding Ayla McDowell, a couple of transfers. And then we fast forward to that next recruiting cycle. There's going to be players leaving. But are we going to get the players that want to come to South Carolina to compete at practice? Can we talk about practice? We're talking about practice. Are we going to get those individuals to compete at the University of South Carolina in practice where you are legitimately practicing against the best players in the country? There's no other team in the country that boasts as many McDonald's All-Americans, as many 5-star recruits, as many top-level players from multiple recruiting classes. Nobody. No one. What is going to happen? Is this instant gratification going to continue for those players who don't want to sit? And they're going to wait for the opportunity. Okay, Carolina's lost some players, so now I'm going to come in and because I know I'm going to get some PT. I'm not sure. But I would say this right here. If MiLaysia Fulwiley can go to the University of South Carolina with the notion that she's going to come off the bench for 2 years, I believe that any player in the country should do the same. I'm just saying. If a player like Tessa Johnson can come off the bench for 2 years, Breezy, Joyce Edwards, by many recruiting profiles, was the #1 player in the country. And she's coming off the bench for the University of South Carolina. So you're telling me that some of these players are better than Joyce Edwards? Some of these players are better than MiLaysia Fulwiley? Maddy McDaniel, backup point guard? These young ladies could have went to any other team in the country. And for 95% of them, they would have went to another school and started. But they chose South Carolina. I'm not sure what message that says for other teams or other recruits. I'm not sure. But I do remember the conversation that I saw on social media. They were talking about when Breezy was trying to decide if she was going to go to the University of South Carolina. And Dawn was straight up with her family and saying, we got some dogs. We want your daughter, but we got some dogs already there. So when that statement is going out to Caitlin Carrolls or to the Got Bakers or to the Aaliyah Chavez's and to the Jazzy Davisons and all these other recruits who decided to go other places, that notion is we got some dogs on this basketball team and I'm not willing to wait my turn. Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? It's different, y'all. It's different. It's different. Because when the transfer portal come up, you're going to have players, top level players, that say, I want to come to the University of South Carolina because I want to win a championship. I want to get to the WNBA. Because last time I thought was players want to go to the WNBA. They want to get paid, especially with this new collective bargaining agreement coming up after the year 2026. These young ladies are going to get paid. The unrivaled league that's popping off, those queens are going to get paid. And if you want to go be trained for the NBA, WNBA, I mean, last time I checked, the track record speaks for itself with Dawn Staley. I mean, I don't know. The best player in the world right now is A'ja Wilson. I mean, just two recruiting cycles ago, we had 5 players drafted. We had Camila Cardoza drafted in this past cycle. Tina Pow will get drafted this upcoming cycle. That's a given. I don't see, there won't be a year for the foreseeable future that South Carolina won't have at least one player drafted in WNBA. But some of these players are going to other teams. The Cincinnati's. No shade in Cincinnati, but y'all ain't going to compete against South Carolina. Kansas State. No. Iowa. Don't want no parts of South Carolina again. Washington. I'm just naming some of these teams that some of these young ladies are going to. North Carolina, California, Illinois, Utah, Auburn. Those teams aren't on Carolina's level. In my humble opinion, will never be on Carolina's level. But these young ladies are going to those teams, and they are going to be the it girl when they arrive on campus. Make no mistake about it. Most of the young ladies in this freshman class will arrive at their university and be, if not the best player, one of the top 2 players. And they'll be talking about, oh, this freshman class is amazing, blah, 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 blah. I saw some stuff in regards to this, the best freshman over the first a week or so into the year. And it was a mention of Joyce. No mention of Maddy, because she don't play enough minutes, right? Her stats ain't gonna pop out like that. But you got the freshmen who are playing a lot of minutes, and they're gonna get those stats. And then some of these freshmen are playing against some bum schools, and they're gonna accumulate stats. The next time I see a stat by LSU and what they're doing after being, playing 5 teams in a row. They're horrible. And talking about how good they are. And my homeboys from LSU who shout me out, homeboys from LSU, we be going back and forth and everything. Like, come on, man. Just play somebody. Just somebody. Anybody early. It just I understand the stat stuff, and I understand that because you winning by 15, you got those 2 or 3 players, and the player, come Michaela and Flage and Anissa Morrow playing 30-some minutes, but you winning by 50. Like everybody on scholarship last time I thought. But I don't want to digress. I don't want to digress to that. But come on. Yo, at the end of the day, Carolina gonna be Carolina. If you want to, and if you want to come to Carolina, if you want to compete for a starting spot, if you want to compete for minutes, if you want to compete for a championship every year that you're there, you come to South Carolina. Otherwise, go somewhere else. That's it. That's the bottom line. Go somewhere else that's not as tough to get on the floor, because it's tough to get on the floor for South Carolina. It is what it is at this point. So for the class of 25 recruits that are going to these other schools, we'll see you down the line, and you'll get that L. That same way going to go forward for the class of 24 recruits, and 23, and 22, and just keep going. You will get that L when you play South Carolina. It is what it is. I'm sorry for your loss. This includes another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I'm your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, and make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I continue to bring you that gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are now rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will.